Shalom, brothers and sisters. I hope everyone is doing well. All praises due to the Most High Heavenly Father Yah and His Son. And today we're going to be looking at Ur of the Chaldees, who the people are, and where the land is. And also, this is just my opinion, and I'm just sharing my studies. And that way, anybody wants to see it, they can. If it helps, all praises due. If it doesn't, still all praises due. My references today are going to be the Holy Bible, Book of Jasher, Book of Jubilees, Biblical Encyclopedia, dictionaries like the Zandervan, Strong's, and also Wikipedia and other dictionaries. Okay, so let's see who the Chaldeans are and who they come from. If we go to Jubilees, chapter 11, verse 3. And Ur, the son of Chesed, built the city of Ur of the Chaldees, and called its name after his own name and the name of his father. And they made for themselves molten images, and they worshipped each the idol, the molten image which they had made for themselves. And they began to make graven images and unclean simulacras, and malignant spirits assisted and seduced them into committing transgression and uncleanness. Okay, so let's see. Let's review that. It starts off by saying Ur, the son of Chesed, builded a city and called it Ur of the Chaldees. Some people call it Ur of Chesed or Ur of Chasmadine, and named it after his own name and his father's name. So that's how the city of Ur started. And also they started making molten images, right? They also started worshiping idols. So these are things associated with Ur of the Chaldees. Now, there isn't much written about Chesed or Ur. Now, if you go under Arphaxad, and then who is the son of Shem, and then you look under his sons, you get to Chesed. And then also other people believe that Chesed is the son of Arphaxad, which makes him a Shemite. Okay, we're going to go to Isaiah chapter 23, verse 13 real quick. And it says, "Behold, the land of the Chaldeans. This people was not till the Assyrians founded it for them that dwelt in the wilderness. They set up the towers thereof, they raised up the palaces thereof, and he brought it to ruin." So looking at this verse really carefully, it says Assyria founded it for them that dwelt in the wilderness. So the people might have had a small town. Ur was a small town, wilderness, nothing around. And the Assyrians built up the towers, built up the palaces thereof. And the Chaldeans brought it to ruins. So before the Assyrians, the Chaldeans was probably a small town set up, nothing around, set up by Ur. This is Habakkuk 1 and 6. It says, "For lo, I raise up the Chaldeans, that bitter and hasty nation, which shall march through the breadth of the land to possess the dwelling places that are not theirs." And if you read the scriptures, you very easily see that Chaldea and Babylon are very close together, and that they're even used in the scriptures to substitute each other. Like on some scriptures it says, "For lo, I raise up the Babylonians, that bitter and hasty nation." So they're very close together in region and even in people. And Ur of the Chaldees is the same place our forefather Abraham was born and called up out of. On Genesis 15, it said 7, it says, "And he said unto him, I am the Yahuwah that brought thee out of Ur of the Chaldees to give thee this land to inherit it." Okay, we're going to go to Daniel chapter 2, verse 1. It says, "And in the second year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuchadnezzar dreamed dreams, wherewith his spirit was troubled, and his sleep brake from him. Then the king commanded to call the magicians and the astrologers and the soothsayers and the Chaldeans for to show the king his dreams. So they came and stood before the king." And if we go back to real quick, Jasher chapter 11, where it says Ur and his father made molten images and malignant spirits helped them out. This is a Chaldean thing. This is what they do. They make images. They're into witchcrafts and stuff like that. Okay, let's see what Ur means. This is a article from Encyclopedia. It says the origin of the name Ur is not clear. Some maintain that it is the Sumerian word Uri, meaning town. Some point to the group of cuneiform symbols in which the Sumerian name is written and translate the name as the place of the dwelling of light. In the Bible, the city is referred to as the Ur of the Chaldees. Okay, so what the encyclopedia says Ur means is town, or in cuneiform Sumerian, it is the place of the dwelling of light. The dwelling of light. Okay, let's see if we can find other definitions of this word. Okay, so let's look at this Bible dictionary from Easton, and it says light or the moon city, a city of the Chaldees, the birthplace of Haran, the largest city of Shinar or North Chaldea, and the principal commercial center of the country, as well as the center of political power. Okay, so by this definition of this dictionary, Ur means light or the moon city. So the light city. And if you haven't watched my other videos, please watch my other videos like Babylon and Shinar. This would make a little bit more sense. So let's go to this map that I have from 1885, I think, from C.J. Colton. And we're going to zoom in right now. You know, if you watch my other videos, you know where the Kushite kingdom started. And if you can see right there, Shinar, now you know that Chaldea would not be too far from there. This is another map that I had got off the internet. I don't own this one, but if you look in closely right there, it says Babylon. So you know Babylon is right there by the Nile area where they say the Cushitic kingdom started at. So I was doing my research on Egypt for this video, and I went to Wikipedia and said Yam Suf on there. And then if you go under translation and location, you see this map of Egypt. Now, if you zoom in very closely on Wikipedia of this map on Egypt, right there, you'll see Babylon on Wikipedia. So we know the Babylon is right around that area where the Cushitic kingdom is. The Cushites started Babylon. The Chaldeans are from Kaset. Now, I've looked at a lot of maps, and in my research, I haven't found Ur of the Chaldees. Now, let's go back to this map from C.J. Colton, and if we zoom in, and in a lot of other maps, I have found Dur. And that's very, very similar to Ur of the Chaldees. So, I've looked recently to see on Google Map or anything. I have found a location called Temple of Dur. Now, where this location is, Dur is not there no more. It's been renamed. And now when we go to Luxor, which is not too far away, and I did the etymology on Luxor, I found out something very interesting. Okay, so this right here says Luxor was a very important city as the Greeks named it Thebes and the ancient Egyptians called it West. The current name Luxor means in Arabic al ukurs, ashores, and I know I'm messing that up. That means the places or perhaps fort. Okay, so this is saying the Greeks named it Thebes and the Egyptians called it West. But in Arabic, Luxor means the places or perhaps fort. Now, I don't know if you remember that definition of Ur that we looked at earlier. It says the origin of the name Ur is not clear. Some maintain that it is the Sumerian word Uri, meaning town. Okay, and let's go down a little bit, and it says right there, translated the name as the place of the dwelling of light. The place, dwelling of light. Okay, let's see what else we can find. Okay, so from this English to Arabic translation says lucky comes from lux, which comes from light. I just put lux. Lux, which means light. Now, if we look at these other definitions, you've seen that they said light and fort, which all the definition we looked at of Luxor means either fort, place, or light. So lux meaning light, or lux, fort, or. So that region right there between the Temple of Dur and Luxor, in my opinion, is Chaldeans. And I understand that Luxor was moved. They moved that. Maybe it might be closer to Dur. They're not too far away. But between Dur and Luxor, right there, is where I personally believe that Ur the Chaldees were. And it is just north of Shinar, where I believe Babylon and Nimrod and everybody were. Okay, so let's see what the Egyptians called the Mediterranean Sea. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing this wrong, but Ur was the ancient Egyptian name for Mediterranean Sea, also known as Wajit Wer, and is translated as the Great Green. Okay, let's look up Wajit Wer. And I know I'm pronouncing that wrong. I really apologize. Okay, so Wikipedia says Wajit Wer, also spelled as Ucher is an Egyptian god of fertility and the personification of the Mediterranean Sea, whose name means the great green. He also symbolizes the richness of the waters of the Nile Delta. Okay, so what they're saying is the Mediterranean Sea, which was called Ur, which means great green. Okay, well, means light. That's what we had looked up in all the other definitions. Ucher must mean green, I'm assuming, unless Ur has multiple meanings in the Egyptian term. And I don't, they called that the Ur. Why would they call that the Ur if, Ur wasn't around, within that vicinity? So now let's see what they called the Red Sea. We're going to watch a couple of clips of some videos. Doing my research for this, I was looking at documentaries, and it's very interesting what I came across, what they call the Red Sea. So let's get ready to watch these videos real quick.
Considered the offspring of Ptah, the developer. Ptah was believed to have raised Egypt from floodwaters by constructing dikes. The Egyptians acknowledged that their ancient gods arrived by boat from the south, as depicted in prehistoric rock drawings. The only maritime route from the south to Egypt was the Red Sea, known in Egyptian as the Sea of Ur. The term Ur could also refer to the Sumerian city of the same name. The Egyptian term for god, Neteru, meant one who watches, which coincides with the meaning of the name Shumer.
Okay, so by that video, they said the Egyptians called the Red Sea Sea of Ur. Now, why would they call it Sea of Ur? They said it themselves because of the city of Ur of the Chaldees. That's why they called it Ur. And they also said it on there where the Egyptians themselves said they came from Sumer, from the south. Well, that's right there where Sudan area. If you look at my other videos, we already found Babylon where Shinar is. That's why. Now let's look at another video and see what they have to say.
From Egypt. It's proposed that this destination was also Gilgamesh's target. On his second pivotal quest for Tillman, Gilgamesh embarked on a voyage aboard a ship, an Egyptian ship, commencing from the realms of Mesopotamia. The journey necessitated a sail down the Persian Gulf, thereafter veering around the Arabian Peninsula to enter what the Egyptians termed the Sea of Ur, or the Red Sea.
Okay, so by that documentary on Gilgamesh, again, they called it the Sea of Ur, the Red Sea. Now, the Sea of Ur is named after the city of Ur, like the last video said on the documentary on Egypt. So the reason they call it the Sea of Ur is because Ur is right there. Egypt, all that middle area through on is Ur. Okay, so let's get a recap going. If you watch my other videos, you know where Babylon is. And when we looked up on Wikipedia on the Egyptian map for Yam Suf, we saw that Babylon was on Wikipedia right underneath Egypt. Also, the other map that we had shown, it had Babylon on there in Egypt. Right above that was Dur, the Temple of Dur. Very similar. I think it's the same thing in my personal opinion, but then right above that we have Luxor. Now I understand Luxor wasn't right there where it is present day. They moved it. I completely understand, but they didn't move it that far. Luxor is right there. Chaldea is, in my opinion, in between Babylon and Luxor. All that region was Chaldea. The definitions that we had looked at for Luxor, it said light, of Ur, fort of Ur, place of Ur. So Ur of what? Ur of the Chaldees. Then we looked at the couple of those videos where they referred to as the Red Sea as the Sea of Ur, from getting their name from the city of Ur, Ur of the Chaldees, which is right there in Egypt. Also, the Mediterranean Sea, the Egyptians called it Udur Ur. I know I'm messing that pronunciation up, and I really apologize. But it means green sea or green Ur. But this is why I personally believe that Egypt is Ur of the Chaldees, and underneath that, Nubia, that area was Babylon. That's just my personal beliefs from my research alone. And these are just my beliefs. You are free to research everything and fact check. And please, I hope you do. And I appreciate for the views and comments, and praise the Most High Heavenly Father and His Son. All praises to due to Him. And thank you for watching.